Good morning, class. Well, let me first of all say that I hope that you had a good Labor Day. I know that for many of us, we have to do a little bit of work on Labor Day just because that's the nature of the beast, and often as students, we also have to study and to work on Labor Day. But I hope you are able to get at least a little bit of rest and relax and enjoy your family and your friends a little bit. Also, just again, let me reiterate what an awesome job as a class you did on the quiz. That's very rare to see a class as big as this, generally speaking, to do as well on a quiz that as you have. And so congratulations. Keep on studying, keep on working hard. We're off to a really good start, and so really excited about really just the commitment that all of you have made toward this class. And again, I want you to know that if I can help, really shoot me an email, let me know how I can help you, or if you have questions about anything, I'm more than happy to help in any way that I can. Now this week, obviously we don't have a quiz at the end of the week, but we do have our discussion board number 3 coming up, and in here we get into what some might refer to as a difficult topic to understand, and that would be the synoptic problem. Of course, one of the questions that you'll have, the second question, is to really just define and explain some of the various views that are associated with the synoptic problem. So make sure that you look at the question, read it carefully, and you define and explain each one of those views clearly and thoroughly. Also, in the first one, the first question you'll have is just, looking at what is the nature of the problem. Is there really a synoptic problem? And so just make sure, again, that you read the question carefully, answer each part of it thoroughly, and I'm sure that you'll do fine. And then the last question really has to do with the various types of criticisms, and really when we use the word criticisms in New Testament scholarship, another way of understanding what criticisms are, really we could refer to them as reading strategies, different ways that we look at a text and try to interpret it. So make sure that you may have to do a little hunting to try to find the clear definition for what form criticism is, the source criticism, as well as redaction criticism, and maybe some of the others. But just make sure that you define those very clearly, because sometimes some of the students can get confused about what each one of those really is. So I know that you guys will do well. Just make sure you read really thoroughly, and just do the best that you can. And one of the things that I do want to emphasize, and again, just to make sure that you realize that this is really it's not something that I want to do. It's just something that I must do, and that's I have to comply with the late assignment policy. Really, I want to see all of y'all thrive, but I am not in a position, unfortunately, to redefine that policy. So if assignments are not turned in, especially discussion boards, at the 11:59 deadline, I'm sorry, but I'm not able to give you credit. And so I just really urge you to take seriously that deadline. Now, if there are extenuating circumstances that will prohibit you from making that deadline, a death of a family member, a sickness that was out of your control, then certainly allowances can be made. However, just because you got busy or something like that doesn't necessarily qualify as something that is beyond your control, because we don't have to, each one of you, begin the work on those discussion boards Thursday night. As I have emphasized earlier, I'd begin the work Tuesday or Wednesday, so that if you do have a computer issue, or if you're running against a deadline, that you have so much more time. So begin the process of working on those questions before Thursday. And I know that sometimes it's difficult, no doubt. Listen, I've been a student and worked and served at a church and all those different types of things at the same time, having 4 kids, and so I understand those challenges, and we just have to really just be disciplined in scheduling our time and making sure that we're using it as effectively as we can. So again, it's not my policy, it's the Divinity School's policy, so please just try to comply with that, as I must. Well, guys, I hope that you have a great week. Again, I would like to encourage you to do your research for the intertestamental paper that's coming up. Like I said in the email, it will be here quicker than you realize. So get that research done. I know that one of the students in the class, he took advantage of this long weekend to do a lot of his research. So perhaps some of you can do some of the same this week or maybe next week. Maybe carve out a few hours that will allow you to do the research, to get down at least 5, 6, 7 really good sources, scholarly sources that will help you really write an excellent paper. Also to give you time, listen, to proofread, to make sure your sources are cited properly, not only in the footnotes but also in the bibliography. Make sure you review the proper form for the title page. And if you do a table of contents, again, make sure you review the proper form for a table of contents. And one of the things that some of the students have failed to do very well in the past is developing a thesis statement in their introduction. Make sure you read through the instructions on a thesis statement, as well as the function of the introductory paragraph, the introduction. I want to make sure you guys get that right, because a clear thesis is very important for this paper. It'll kind of set the course for the rest of the paper. So listen, guys, really proud of you. I really am your biggest cheerleader. I see that you guys are working hard, doing well. Just keep that up. And again, I'm always here to help you. All right, guys, God bless.